Swimmer Lia Thomas is about to compete at the NCAA D1 National Championships, and she has a real chance at winning or even setting a record. And that is exciting for a milestone for any athlete. But for Lia, a transgender athlete, a win could further fuel what has been a complicated situation for college athletes and now potentially the Olympics. Investigative correspondent Rich McHugh returned to this story for us tonight and has more on the Olympic eyeballs watching what is happening in the pool this week.
22-year-old Lia Thomas, who is transgender, smashed Ivy League swimming records this year, swimming on the University of Pennsylvania women's team. And recently, the NCAA announced that Thomas is eligible to compete here at the championships, that it would not change its rules for the 2022 swim season because it could have unfair and potentially detrimental impacts on schools and student athletes intending to compete in the 2022 NCAA Women's Swimming Championships. But the debate about whether Lia Thomas should be allowed to compete against women is reaching a boiling point. Two advocacy groups, the Women's Sports Policy Working Group and Champion Women, released two petitions with over 5,000 signatures pushing for fairness and safety for females and not blanket transgender inclusion or exclusion in women's sports, signed by some 300 Olympians and U.S. national team members and 2,500 athletes from the college, club, and high school level. Olympic gold medal swimmer Nancy Hogshead-Makar is the founder of Champion Women, an organization behind one of the petitions.
And these are people who are saying from the sports world that they want to affirm fairness as the guiding principle for when you're thinking about including transgender athletes.
John Neighbor, former NCAA swimming champion and four-time gold medal winner at the Olympics, signed the petition. Neighbor is a current board member of the U.S. Olympic Committee.
The NCAA has now said they're allowing Lia to swim in the NCAA championships. Do you believe that the NCAA has this wrong?
Oh, absolutely. And I'm guessing it's probably because they don't want to face the public relations backlash of ejecting somebody who has done nothing wrong. Let me be clear. I fully support Lia's right to identify any way she wishes and will refer to her as the manner in which she prefers. But I cannot say that her competing against cis women is a fair competition. And I do believe that she has an unfair advantage because of the way she was raised and born. And those advantages did not disappear with her change of identity.
Neighbor says he believes that because she went through puberty as a man and she has the physiology that she developed during puberty, those advantages do not go away either by her identity or through estrogen therapy.
I think it's a human frailty to be able to relate to the victim you can see, and you overlook the victims that you cannot see. And everybody, when they talk and look at Lia and hear from Lia, they're very empathetic to her condition. But the athletes who suffer if she competes against them, they're not on the camera. They're reluctant to speak out, so those of us who have to make decisions don't hear from them and are likely not moved emotionally by their plight.
One of Thomas's teammates sat down with me recently.
This is a problem that needs to be fixed.
We disguised her identity and voice.
The other teammates who see this the same way that you do, how do they feel about speaking out about this? Are they scared?
I think a lot of my teammates are really scared.
Lia Thomas declined our request for an interview through the university. Thomas recently spoke with Sports Illustrated, pushing back at critics and said, "The very simple answer is that I'm not a man. I'm a woman, so I belong on the women's team."
Do you agree with that?
I agree that Lia identifies as a woman, but I think that there is differences between the physiological makeup of a transgender woman versus a cisgendered woman, and to allow Lia 100% the ability to be on the women's team and with no rules or anything like that, which is not fair.
When you were watching Lia swim at meets and whatnot, what's going through your mind?
Frustration. Frustration that this was allowed to happen. The NCAA has never said anything about the situation, but by not saying anything, they were then discriminating against cisgender women.
So you feel that you've been discriminated against?
Oh, 100%. Yes, absolutely. I've been discriminated against. And most of my teammates have too. And the NCAA has allowed it to happen, and it's shameful.
Here in Atlanta, Thomas, a fifth-year senior, could go out with her name in the NCAA record books.
Should Lia be competing in those?
I do not think that Lia should be competing in those because there is now one less spot for a cisgender female who is of NCAA championship caliber who will not get to compete. And also, Lia's going, and whatever heat she's in, whatever event she's in, there is no longer a fair and equitable playing field.
But her swimming aspirations may not stop there. Thomas has said she wants to compete in the Olympics. Neighbor, who is on the board of the Olympic Committee, says he will advise against her inclusion.
I hope that Lia feels included and there's a place for her somewhere, but I do not think that she should be allowed to compete against the other women at the Olympic level.
Thanks for watching. Click the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.